welcome to my channel. Today I want to introduce you to paper quilling. It's a really relaxing art and it's really cheap to do. You can get all these different tools and supplies. You don't have to use these. Basically, bare minimum, quilling tool and some strips of paper. These are all just extras that you can get for if you want to do more advanced techniques, or if you're wanting to make everything so the uniform shapes. So I'll clear the items to one side so you're not focusing on too many things. So I do have a few alternatives for some of the tools. You may be able to come up with some of your own. So apart from the quilling tool, which is basically a stick that's got a slit in it for your paper to go into, like that, and then you just curl it around for what you need. There are different types of quilling tools. This is my favourite one. It's I find it easy because it's short and I can press it against the inside of my hand while I'm turning. You can get these electric ones for, say, if you're doing really big coils, and because it can make your fingers ache if you're doing the really big ones because you're trying to hold them in place without it coming unravelled. And also there's other types. There's these that are just like a long needle, and I have used these on a few things, but I prefer the one with the slot, and that one's just rolling it around yourself. I think it's just getting used to the knack of doing it. You can use these for other techniques as well, but you can get some that are like double-ended, that's got the slit at one end, and then this one's got a ball tool at the end, same as this one. But you can get them which are double-ended, which has got a needle tool at one side, which is like this one, but then at the other end you've got the slotted tool. This was a one that I got in a kit, but I think I do have a Crafter's Companion one somewhere that got from out of one of their boxes. Or that one, oh no, that one's a Crafter's Companion one. But I have seen these ones in their shop, and you can get them anywhere, and online's easy enough to get them. They're just the different types that you can get. You can get longer ones, shorter ones. You can even decorate them if you want to make them a little bit more fun to your taste as you want, but these are just a few of mine that I've collected over the years, because I've bought kits and things that have had them in already, so that's why I've got quite a few. So the next one I'd say is, if you've not got one of the needle tools, as one of these needle tools, because it's good for just moving around your shapes, because if you can either work on a cork board with some wax paper on, or without the wax paper, or just on your desk. It just depends on which way that you want to work, but these little needle tools that come in really good use. I learnt how to, this one's made with a T-pin and some polymer clay. I learnt it from Susan on Turtle Soup Beads, so check out her video if you want to make your own. You could also use, instead of that, just a toothpick. Again, it's amazing things that you can use this for. It's just an alternative. Most people have got some of these laying around in the kitchen, so now you can have them in your crafting stash. There's a bigger needle tool. I think this is more of a brad needle tool, I think. I'm not right sure of the full name, because it's got a wider needle on it. So if you're wanting to make a coil that has got a hole in the middle, you could use that. Another tool is a crimper. There's different ones that you can get. These are just like the ones that come in kids' craft packs. And then there's this one that's got all different sizings of crimping on, depending on how big you want them. And then this is just like a little one that comes in a box. You don't need all of them, it's just I wanted to get them and see what they were like. You just put the handle in and you run, see if I can find it, and you put your, because it's not a full one, hold it in. I might be able to do it a bit better then. Just try and hold it in. Just trying to do it up off the table so you can see it better, and just turn, and then it comes out like that, and you can use them on lots of different projects. So I really like the crimper. It sort of gives you an extra dimension. Can't get, oh, there we go. And I like this one because it comes in a little box, and I'm big on storage. I like storage ideas. So, oh, so that one went in the bottom. Right, so I'll put that to the side. Now another one would be an actual shape board, which has got cork behind it, so it's like working off just a regular cork board, but this has got different shapes already put on it for you to measure them out. So if you're doing a really big project and you needed all the shapes to be exactly the same, then you put your paper into these and you block them out using pins, you know, just at your points, and they push into the cork and keep your shape to what you need it until the glue is set. So a tin of little pins is a good idea to have at the side for if you're using those. You can get different boards. This one's wasn't an actual quilling one. I got this, I think it was out of a math set that I had for my kids, but it had got the different circles on. You could use that as well. I could use this for making rings for if you were doing you know, moulding of quilling shapes. But these ones, you can get various different ones. Again, I've bought different kits over the years, and that's the same as that one. Some come with like a ruler on the side, which is helpful. Or like these ones, have got a few of each size on it, so you can have a few of the sizes drying at the same time. And then this one's a foam back rather than a cork board. I prefer the cork board, but again, I just got this out of a kit. You don't have to use these. This is just a helpful tool for if you're wanting to make everything, you know, uniform and look the same. So that's that. And then there's this one. It's called a curling coach, and it basically goes on the end of your needle tool, and there's a little hole. Just pop it through, and then you put your paper through at the same time, and it holds, it sort of keeps the strip in place. It won't come off on there, but then you can turn it, and it's got the different sizes on, so you can see how big of a coil you're getting, so you can gauge on how much you need to turn. And then there's these other ones where you can basically do the same. You put your tool in and you fill in your hole as the amount that you want. I've not used these sides yet. I used this one when I first started out. It does help if you're wanting to keep your hands steady while you're learning, because it can be a little bit fiddly trying to do it all to start with. So it's a really handy tool for if you're struggling to keep your coils tight while you twist them. The next one is called a husking board. There's different versions of this one. I've got them for this was one for wire, making wire flowers and things that you get pins and you put them in, but you can use it for quilling as well. And there's this husking board that's not got any of these at the bottom, which again is just you put your pins in, which is the same idea for all of them. But this one's got these lines at the bottom, which you can do different techniques with those ones, making leaves and petals and different things. But this one has a little drawer in it with the pins in. It has two pins that have got a slot in, which is like your needle tool where you start off your starting point, and then you make out your pattern, and you basically just wrap it around the pins, wait till the glue's dry, then ease the shape off, and then you've got whatever it is that you've been making. Now, a tool that's good for that as well as the needle tool is a pair of tweezers, because it's handy for getting things up off of this, or for if you've got these in the board, or if you just want to pinch some shapes together just to make sure that they stick before you let go. So that's another really good tool. Another one is the Quilling Comb. Now this is a proper quilling comb that I got when I started out, and it's got numbers down the side. You can get different ones of these that have got more or less combs in, or the needles are further apart. But if you've not got one of those and you don't want to invest, you can get these, you've probably already got a comb somewhere hanging around your house. This one's just, I think it's just an afro comb or a detangling comb, and as you can see the needles are further apart, but it's alright for giving it a go and practising on, or just a regular comb. You don't have to go and buy special tools all the time. You can try and find alternatives and make your own. So I do use all of these for different projects I'm wanting to do. This one's just for if I want to do a finer petal, and then this one's just for shorter ones that I use. But again, because it's got so many combs on needles on it, you could number it just like the other one, and you've got your own quilling comb. And then the next one is a moulding tool. This is for if you're wanting to make domes and things, for if you're making 3D shapes. You could also put your flowers, once they're slightly stuck together, and push them down into the centre, and it will give them a 3D look. So you can use this on either side. So it's for pushing things in at this side so that it gives it that curved look, and on this side it's pushing it over them so it gives you that curved look. So for example, like on this little teddy bear that I've made, I made a dome for the front and a dome for the back, and once the domes have dried you can stick them together. So essentially you can make balls and things like that. You can get different ones of these that have got that they're separate, or you can get ones that have got like a cone shape on. I've not got one of those. They are on my wish list, but this is just the one that I've got, and I find this really handy. This one has got letters down the side of it, so if you were taking notes on what it was that you were doing, you could just write down what you've used to make sure, in case you want to make that project again. And that's it really. And then finally, I can't remember if I've mentioned it, is just glue. Tacky glue is good for if you're trying to keep your petals together, if you need something that quite sturdy for it to stick together, or regular PVA. And these are just fine nose tip glue bottles. You can get some that are metal that are like a needle tip point, but these are just what I've got. They're just as good. It just depends on what you want to use really, and you can keep filling these up. And that's a must for with quilling, because obviously you need to stick your papers together. Paper clips, that could be another alternative for you holding shapes together. These are like little bulldog clips, so you can just get regular paper clips. The useful tool for paper quilling is paintbrushes. It's good for spreading glue around when you're doing your moulding and things like that, or if you just want to spread it on the edge of your quilling strip. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out then. Rather than just dabbing it on with this. So you could do it like that. A good idea is to have a wet sponge, or I already have a baby wipe at the side, so I clean my nozzles in between projects just so that they don't get clogged up. I also clean the brush after every time I've used it, just so that it doesn't dry up and it doesn't ruin my brush. And that's one more alternative. The helpful tool is a Quilling Body. It's basically just different shapes. I've only got 3 different shapes here, but you can get them that have got squares and different things. I've just got triangles. So, oh, this one's a square actually, sorry. But you can get them like hexagons and things like that. This just came with a set of 3. I even use the handle sometimes if I want a bigger ring. It's basically just something to wrap your quilling strips around to get uniform shapes, and then you slide them off. I've numbered each one of mine so I know which ridge I want to use, because as you can see it tapers down and it gives you that ledge to work against when you're rolling. And then once you've got your sizing done, you can either leave it on the body or you can slide it off and do it in your hands manually. This is the handle and you just slot it on the end. Like I say, you can use this as well as one of your alternatives. The end of this is good for if you're wanting to do a if you've got this but you haven't got one of the moulding domes that I spoke about, you can put your shape over the end of that So that's another one. So if you're wanting to do fringe work in your quilling, you've got different options. This is just a really cheap fringing machine that I got from one of the Chinese sites. Can't remember how much it was. It weren't a lot. You can buy really expensive ones, but you don't need to. You can either use regular scissors, which you just cut your strips however wide you want, or you can get these multi-blade scissors, and this just does it a lot quicker than just using your normal scissors. But you don't have to buy these. End of the day, all you really need is a pair of scissors. I just got this to see how it worked, and they all work the same, so whichever you want to do is the one that you use. And that's about it. So I hope that's been helpful and it's inspired you to have a go at quilling. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!